Right, this is the second part of our study on hell and the usage of the words where the word hell was translated from. Now, let's take a look at some of the words in the New Testament first. The word Sheol in the Old Testament appears quite a lot, so that's going to take a bit more effort to go through there. I think so. We start with the New Testament, and this is the word Hades. It appears in 11 verses. This is the word Gehenna, that appears in 12 verses. And this is the word Tartarusas, that appears in one word. I think the first one we can start with is this Gehenna, because it's the clearest one of them all. Now, this is all in Greek, but when I click on that verse, it will show the English over there. So, we're going to look at the Authorized Version, the Revised Version, the ESV, the NASB, the NIV, and then this is the Greek. The text is Receptus, or received text, which is generally the text that all your older Bibles would have been translated from. This is the other one down here is the Nestle-Aland text. That's the will probably be the version number 27 or 28. It's a very small difference between 27 and 28. I think there's something like, I think it's about 30 or so different changes between the two texts. They've updated the one, but it's pretty much the same text. Now, this is based on Nestle-Aland 27th edition there. And then down here you've got the United Bible Society's text. I think that's in its third or fourth. Yeah, this is the fourth edition, the latest one. This is where all your late newer Bibles are translated from. The Bible Societies generally go from this UBS one, and then the Nestle-Aland text. A lot of people do research and they go from that one. Those two texts are essentially the same. There are very few differences between them. However, between them and this one up here, the text Receptus, the received text, there are about 8,000 differences. Some of them are big differences, some of them are small differences. That doesn't really amount to anything, but there are very substantial differences in them, and that affect doctrines. It affect just plain the sense of things, and whether the sentence makes sense or not. And I'll look at some of that in future videos. I think for now we'll just focus on hell, but that's just a difference. So we're basically going to look at these three Greek texts, and then we'll look at another Hebrew one when we get the Hebrew. So in this first verse here, Matthew 5:22, we're looking at Gehenna. We find it uses the word Tein Gehennan. It says there, if you look at it, it's a noun, accusative, feminine, singular. So it speaks about somebody being cast into this Gehenna. And then it says to puros. Now let's go back to the English, not to try and sound smart or anything. It says, "Thou if you say unto anybody, thou fool, you shall be in danger of hellfire." So in this instance over here, Gehenna is associated with fire. Pur, that's also where you get your word for pyrotechnics from, your fireworks, pur. And it was translated by the Revised Version as hell of fire. So basically saying that this it's interesting how they translate it, because it means that there might be a hell not of fire. You see what I mean there? See, this is hellfire, so the whole hell is bad. It's full of fire. And this one's saying the hell of fire. There's a possibility that there's something else where hell doesn't have fire. So it affects doctrine, even these little things like that. Yet they did use the word hell. In this word Gehenna, they did use the word hell. They thought that was a good translation in there. In the ESV, same thing, the hell of fire. NASB speaks about the fiery hell. Different from what they used up there, the hell of fire. They said the fiery hell. In NIV, let me just clear that thing up. It messed it up a bit. Computers for you. Fire of hell. Once again, differently. It doesn't say hell of fire. It says the fire of hell. So there, the whole hell might actually be full of fire. So where do they get that from? They get it from this Greek down here, which is the same in these texts. So there's no real difference in the Greek text. You can't really argue over the Greek text there. And they agree that it's speaking about hell. It's a place of punishment and is associated with fire. So in this case, Gehenna is a place of punishment and it's a place filled with fire. Next verse, 529, what does it say there? Not that the whole body should be cast into hell. So here a body is being cast into hell. What does it say in the next one? The Revised Version says the whole body be cast into hell. ESV says whole body be thrown into hell. NASB says thrown into hell. And NIV down there speaks about being thrown into hell. There you go, sorry, just messed it up again. The whole body be thrown into hell. The Greek, once again, eis Gehenna, eis Gehenna, eis Gehenna, into hell. So the Greek's the same, and essentially they all say the same thing here. With Gehenna, they think about hell. Look at the next one, 530. Same thing, cast into hell. Body go into hell. The King James says the body should be cast into hell. The whole body go into hell. And then the ESV says your whole body go into hell. And then go into hell. Go into hell. Now you see something interesting in these verses here, that it's a place where a body can go. So it's not just some little spiritual spooky place where just spirits, and this is a place where bodies go, so a physical place, which is an interesting doctrine. You get it from all these translations, by the way. In this case, though, they all say it's hell. They don't argue over it, they don't call it something else, they say it's hell. So Gehenna so far are really being associated with hell. In this case, destroy both soul and body in hell. So your soul can go there as well. Destroy both soul and body in hell. Body in hell, soul and body in hell, soul and body in hell, soul and body in hell. For the ESV, the ERV, the NASB, and the NIV, they're all the same. The Greek, once again, let's have a look at the Greek. En Gehenna, en Gehenna, en Gehenna, en Gehenna, en Gehenna. So that's all the same. They don't argue over that. That's hell, and that's a physical place where a physical body can go into. Then you get the next one, Matthew 18 verse 9. Rather than having 2 eyes, to be cast into hell fire. Cast into hell of fire. Once again, that hell of fire business. Thrown into the hell of fire, and be cast into the fiery hell. NIV says, and be thrown into the fire of hell. So they agree, once again, on the hell and the fire about it. Eis ten Gehenna, eis ten Gehenna, eis ten Gehenna. Sorry about all this updating and things by the program. That's just the way the software works. You can drive you a bit crazy, so let me do this, maybe that might help a bit. Matthew 23 verse 15. He speaks here of, you make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. Now you can try and translate that as something else, but it doesn't make sense if you would use something like grave and so forth. Nobody can be a child of the grave. But this is a child of hell. In other words, somebody coming from hell, somebody going to hell, somebody belonging into hell, in hell. So the Lord Jesus he's rebuking these Pharisees that they make people that they go so far, they can pass land and sea to make one proselyte, and then make that person somebody that belongs to hell. And that's a very bad thing to do. The ERV, Revised Version, once again says, make him twofold more a son of hell than yourselves. ESV says, a child of hell. NASB speaks about son of hell. NIV speaks about a child of hell. So they also agree on hell. What does the Greek say? The Greek says, oion gehennes, oion gehennes, oion gehennes. Same words there, speaking about hell. Matthew 23 verse 33. There you can see, escape the damnation of hell, escape the judgment of hell, escape being sentenced to hell, escape the sentence of hell, escape being condemned to hell. Speaking about hell, they don't change that to anything else. It's hell. It speaks there in the Greek, teis gehennes, teis gehennes, teis gehennes. So Gehenna is so far all really about hell, the actual physical place. Mark chapter 9 verse 43. And having two hands to go into hell, into the fire that never shall be quenched. And that's obviously not the grave, because he's speaking about a fire that never shall be quenched. If you put a fire in a grave and you fill it up with soil, you've quenched the fire as well. So this is speaking about a place where a fire shall never be quenched. Definitely this is what we understand to be hell. Mark chapter 9 verse 43 in the ERV says, having thy two hands to go into hell. So he speaks about hell, into the unquenchable fire. ESV, go to hell, to the unquenchable fire. NASB, go into hell, into the unquenchable fire. NIV, go into hell where the fire never goes out. What does the Greek say? Greek says tein Gehenna, tein Gehenna, tein Gehenna. Same thing. Mark chapter 9:45. Having 2 feet to be cast into hell, into the fire that never shall be quenched. Having thy 2 feet to be cast into hell. Strange translation, because in this one it says that it's better for you to go in halt. In other words, enter halt into life. In other words, not having all your body members and things like that, and not go to hell. Where this one speaks about just having your 2 feet be cast into hell, which is a bit strange. God doesn't punish you by just casting your 2 feet into hell. He casts the whole body into hell. We saw that in the other verses. So this one is a bit of a strange translation they did over there. ESV, but he still speaks about hell in the ERV. ESV speaks about it's better for you to enter life lame than with 2 feet to be thrown into hell. NASB speaks about having your 2 feet to be cast into hell. So once again, speaking about hell, NIV, having to have 2 feet and be thrown into hell. So they all even differ in that understanding of what we talked about in the Revised Version there about the 2 feet being cast into hell. But they all speak about hell. And the Greek once again speaks about tein Gehenna, tein Gehenna, tein Gehenna, same Greek. And in these last 3 verses, let's have a look at them. Mark 9:47. Once again the same kind of thing. saying than having 2 eyes to be cast into hell fire, rather than having 2 eyes to be cast into hell. ESV, 2 eyes to be thrown into hell, 2 eyes to be cast into hell, 2 eyes and be thrown into hell. So they understood it to be the hell, and the one associated with the burning and the judgment. So that's nothing new there. In the Greek it speaks about eis tein Gehenna, eis tein Gehenna, eis tein Gehenna. Same thing there. And then Luke 12 verse 5 says, fear him which after he hath killed hath power to cast into hell. Same thing for the RV, Revised Version. He hath killed, hath power to cast into hell. ESV has authority to cast into hell. NASB has authority to cast into hell. NIV has authority to throw you into hell. So once again, you can understand from that it's not the grave, because anybody can murder you and throw you into your grave. So this is somebody special, speaking about the Father in heaven, and he has the power not only to kill, but after he killed, he has the power to cast you into hell. The man cannot do that. So that's definitely speaking about hell. Looking at the Greek, what does the Greek say? Greek speaks about tein Gehenna, tein Gehenna, tein Gehenna. So it's the same there. And then James chapter 3 verse 6, what does it say? It says, and it is set on fire of hell. So speaking about your tongue being this member that can destroy by saying something bad and wrong and spreading false lies and hypocrisy, and essentially it's starting this fire, and this fire comes from hell. It's evil. And then the Revised Version, the same thing, set on fire by hell. Interesting, the translation differs here, but it says it's set on fire by hell, and there it says it's set on fire of hell, and that also sort of carries the association with that the fire itself that it carries is part of the fire of hell. It doesn't come so strong through on this translation by hell. ESV says set on fire by hell. NASB says and it is set on fire by hell, and NIV says it itself is set on fire by hell. And in the Greek, teis Gehennas, teis Gehennas, teis Gehennas. So what we found now is, for the word Gehenna at least, is definitely speaking about hell. In every single instance, in all the 12 verses, it's speaking about hell. It's speaking about a place of punishment. It's speaking about a place where evil people are punished, and it's associated with fire. So it's not just some restful place for evil people, a jail or something. This is a place where they are captive and they're actually burning and being tormented in fire. So we'll look at the other words in the next video.